One day, you'll realize something terrifying. The years you thought you had are gone. Not because of one big mistake, but because of hundreds of small delays. Tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. Most people don't waste their lives on purpose. They simply assume they have more time. But time keeps moving, whether you're moving or not. And that's what makes this trap so dangerous. Because wasting your life rarely feels like wasting your life. It feels like comfort. It feels like waiting. It feels harmless. Until one day, you look back and realize how much time has disappeared. Today we're talking about the invisible trap that keeps millions of people stuck, and how to escape it before it's too late. Most people think wasting your life would be obvious. A huge mistake, a dramatic failure, a moment where everything falls apart. But that's not how it happens. Most people don't ruin their lives. They slowly drift away from the life they could have had. One day at a time, one excuse at a time, one delay at a time. That's what makes the trap so dangerous. It's invisible. Nobody wakes up and says, "Today I'm going to waste my potential." Nobody plans to spend years avoiding their goals. Yet it happens every day. Not because people are lazy, not because they're incapable, but because they believe they have more time. They tell themselves, "I'll start next month. I'll get serious after summer. I'll work on myself later." And later becomes next week. Next week becomes next month. Next month becomes next year. Before they realize it, years have passed. Think about how quickly the last year disappeared. At some point it felt like there was plenty of time, plenty of chances to start, plenty of opportunities, and now it's gone. The scary part? The next year will disappear just as fast. Time moves whether you're moving or not, whether you're improving or not, whether you're paying attention or not. That's why the trap is so difficult to notice, because nothing feels urgent. You can always start tomorrow. You can always wait one more day. At least that's what your brain tells you. But life isn't measured by intentions. It's measured by actions. The world doesn't reward what you plan to do. It rewards what you actually did. And every day you spend waiting, you're making a choice. A choice to stay the same. A choice to delay growth. A choice to postpone the life you want. The invisible trap isn't failure. It's believing there's always more time. And for many people, that belief costs them years before they finally realize what they've been losing. The most dangerous things in life don't always look dangerous. Sometimes they look comfortable. That's why so many people never notice the problem. Because comfort doesn't feel like a threat. It feels like a reward. After a long day, comfort feels deserved. After a stressful week, comfort feels necessary. After a setback, comfort feels safe. And that's exactly how the trap begins. Nobody chooses comfort because they want to fail. They choose comfort because it feels good right now. One more episode, one more hour scrolling, one more day putting things off. None of these decisions seem important. They feel small, harmless, temporary. But life is rarely changed by one big decision. It's changed by thousands of small ones. The problem isn't resting. The problem is turning rest into a lifestyle. Comfort becomes dangerous when it stops being recovery and starts becoming avoidance. Avoiding the workout, avoiding the work, avoiding the challenge that could move your life forward. And the strange thing is, the more comfort you choose, the harder discomfort begins to feel. Tasks that once seemed easy suddenly feel exhausting. Challenges seem bigger. Effort feels heavier. Not because life became harder, because you became less comfortable with discomfort. Over time, you start organizing your life around what's easy instead of what's important. You choose what feels good now instead of what will make your future better. And little by little, your ambitions shrink. Your standards drop. Your goals become smaller. Not because you lack potential, because comfort slowly convinced you to stop using it. That's why comfort is so dangerous. Failure teaches lessons. Struggle forces growth. But comfort whispers. It tells you that you can start tomorrow, that one more day won't matter. And while you're listening, time keeps moving. The scary truth is this: most people don't lose their future because they fail. They lose it because they become too comfortable to pursue it. Most people think failure is what holds them back. It isn't. Waiting is. Waiting to feel ready. Waiting to feel confident. Waiting to feel motivated. Waiting for the perfect opportunity. The problem is that the perfect moment never arrives, because life doesn't work that way. Think about every goal you've been delaying: getting in shape, learning a skill, starting a project, improving your life. At some point you probably told yourself, "I'll start when I'm ready." But what does ready actually mean? More confidence? Less fear? More certainty? Because here's the truth. Most people don't become ready before they start. They become ready because they start. Confidence comes from action. Experience comes from action. Growth comes from action, not from waiting. The longer you wait, the bigger the challenge becomes in your mind. A workout starts feeling overwhelming. A conversation starts feeling scary. A simple first step starts feeling impossible. Not because the task changed, because your imagination made it bigger. That's why waiting is so expensive. It doesn't just steal time, it creates resistance. Every day you avoid something important, your brain learns a lesson. This must be difficult. This must be dangerous. Otherwise, why would I keep avoiding it? And over time, that story becomes stronger. Months pass, years pass, and many people spend more time preparing for change than actually changing. Always planning, always thinking, always waiting, but never moving. The sad truth is that life keeps moving whether you're ready or not. Opportunities appear and disappear. Time keeps passing. The clock never stops. That's why waiting is dangerous. It feels safe. It feels responsible. But most of the time, it's simply fear disguised as preparation. The people who change their lives aren't the people who wait until they're ready. They're the people who start before they feel ready and figure things out along the way. Take a moment and imagine yourself 5 years from now. Not the version you hope to become, the version you'll become if nothing changes. The version created by your current habits, your current routines, your current decisions. What does that person look like? What kind of life are they living? Most people spend a lot of time thinking about the future they want, the body they want, the confidence they want, the success they want. But very few people think about the future they're actually creating. Because whether you realize it or not, you're building your future every single day. Every habit is a vote. Every action is a vote. Every decision is a vote. And those votes are shaping the person you'll become. Imagine two versions of yourself. The first keeps doing exactly what they're doing today. Same habits, same excuses, same distractions. Nothing dramatic, just small delays repeated over and over again. The second makes small improvements, reads a little more, learns a little more, focuses a little more, moves a little more. Nothing extreme, just consistent progress. Now imagine those two people meeting 5 years from today. The difference would be enormous. Not because one person changed overnight, because one person kept moving while the other kept waiting. That's how lives change. Not through dramatic moments, through repeated actions. The mistake most people make is believing that time will change them, that one day they'll become more disciplined, more focused, more confident. But time doesn't create change. Action creates change. Time simply reveals the results. That's why the future version of you is being built right now, with today's choices, today's habits, today's standards. One day you'll meet that person. The only question is, will you be proud of who you're becoming, or will you wish you had started sooner? There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize something uncomfortable. Nobody is coming to save them. Not motivation, not luck, not the perfect opportunity, not some future version of themselves. Because the future version of you is being created by the actions you take today. And if today's actions don't change, neither will your future. That's the truth most people spend years avoiding. They keep waiting for the right feeling, the right mindset, the right circumstances, the right moment. But life doesn't reward waiting. It rewards action, even imperfect action. Think about how many people already know exactly what they should do. They know they should exercise. They know they should spend less time on their phone. They know they should work on their goals. They know they should stop procrastinating. The problem isn't information. The problem is execution. Because knowing something and doing something are completely different things. And the gap between those two things is where most potential dies. The good news? You don't need to transform your entire life today. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need to reinvent yourself overnight. You just need one action, one step, one decision that moves you forward. Because action creates momentum, and momentum creates change. Most people think motivation creates action, but it's usually the opposite. Action creates motivation. Once you begin moving, it's easier to keep moving. Once you begin improving, it's easier to continue improving. The hardest part is almost always the beginning. That's why waiting is so dangerous. Every day you delay, you're practicing delay. Every day you avoid, you're practicing avoidance. Every day you choose comfort, you're strengthening the habit of staying where you are. But the opposite is also true. Every day you take action, you're strengthening the habit of moving forward. Every workout, every focused hour, every promise kept, every difficult thing completed. It's all shaping who you become. Your life is moving in a direction whether you notice it or not. The question is, are you steering it or are you drifting? Because drifting is easy. Years can disappear while you're drifting, comfortably, quietly, almost invisibly, until one day, you look around and realize you've spent more time thinking about your future than building it. Don't let that happen. Start before you're ready. Start before you're confident. Start before you're motivated. Because confidence comes from action. Discipline comes from action. Growth comes from action. Not before it, after it. One day you'll either be grateful that you started, or you'll wish you had started sooner. The choice is being made right now, with what you do today, not tomorrow, today. One day you'll look back on this period of your life, and you'll either say, I'm glad I started, or I wish I had started sooner. The difference between those two futures isn't talent, it isn't intelligence, it isn't luck, it's action. Small actions, repeated consistently, day after day. Because the greatest tragedy isn't failing, it's never truly trying. So stop waiting, stop delaying, stop telling yourself there's more time. The life you want is being built right now. The question is, what are you building?